To start your armature for your wire sculpture, you're going to need to take an arm length of armature wire. It's a certain thickness. This is 11.5 gauge. And an arm length means that you hold it from one hand in the other hand all the way across your chest, right across your body. So you'll measure that out. I'm not going to show you how to measure that. You should remember that from 4th grade. You're going to need a pair of clippers to cut the wire once it's measured, and you may need a pair of pliers. So what you do once you have your arm length measured, you bring the two ends together and you're going to just pull to fold it in half. So you see I just have a little bend, and all the way down here the two ends are together. And what you're going to do is you're going to start twisting the head. Okay? And you just give it a couple of twists, and that will then become your head. Sometimes if it's a little off or misshapen, you can just reshape it. And then the next step is you're going to make sure you have enough length for your neck. We do want a little bit of a neck, so I just gave it a couple of extra twists. There we go. You're going to take one of the sides and decide how long you want your arm to be. Don't make it, too long. You want to sort of try to get the proportions right. So I'm going to make mine right to about there. And you're going to fold this in half. And as you twist it, it will get a little bit shorter. So keep that in mind, that the length of this is going to twist. And sometimes it's easier to start with your hand. And you just keep twisting like so. Okay, and don't worry about this where it's not all the way up to the neck yet. That's not a big deal. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side, but this time you're going to use your first arm as measurement. So I'm going to fold them together so they line up, right? And now I'm going to fold that in half. Now remember, I gave myself a little bit of extra because when I twist it, it is going to get shorter. So we'll see if I measured that right. Okay. So now we have two arms, right? And this is starting to look like a figure. So this is going to, these two pieces here are going to get twisted together to become the body, the torso. And we can twist this one a little bit more. You can kind of just pinch that all together, okay? So torso. And now this is where, depending on how long your arms are, you may have enough to fold the legs in on themselves, or you may not. So I'm going to lay it out and take a look at it. I have enough to fold the legs up a bit, so I'm going to fold them up and kind of eyeball it. Let's see, your arms, if you put them next to your body, they touch about mid-thigh. So if I fold that down, that's about right. So then I can twist that. And if this is too hard to do, you can use the plier and twist. But I find using your hand is pretty easy. And so now same thing, we're going to line up the other leg. And it's okay if this doesn't get twisted all the way up. It's still going to be sturdy enough. So those are about right. Again, if it's too hard to twist, you can just grab, and sometimes you may even like to hold it with two pliers. So if I hold that still with one plier, I can then twist this with the other. And so that is your armature. If you feel like the head is too small, you can untwist the neck a little bit and reshape it. And now my neck needs to be tightened up again, down a little bit lower. So I'm just going to twist a little bit lower. Now the wire we're going to use to build up our armature, our figure sculpture, is called twisties. You have brown, that's brown right there, and we have peach, but those are very popular colors, so don't try not to plan on a design where those are the main colors that you use. This is going to need to stand on its own. And even if you make feet, right, how I just bent those feet, this does not have muscles like you and I do, so it will not stand on its own. So you're going to have to figure out how to make a base so this can stand, okay? And we'll talk more about that, but that's something to start thinking about. Say you want them to be, you know, in like a soccer pose where they're kicking the soccer ball, right? And they're like doing like a flip. You're going to have to figure out, how is my armature going to stand, you know, stay in that position on its own, because as you see, it doesn't want to stay there, so you might have to build a bigger base for it. Just like our mannequins, how they have a bigger base to stand, okay? That's it. I hope you're excited to start your wire sculpture.